Hello everyone. On May the 30th, Mercury is turning retrograde and will remain so right up until June the 22nd. He is of course the glue that holds everything together in our life, and when he goes retrograde, all sorts of disruption, chaos and uncertainty come into our experience. On the video, I have all the information how this will be for you from your moon and ascendant. But don't forget, this time it's a very special transit because Mercury is part of a solar eclipse. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. And let's begin by looking at the important astrology. The 30th of May, everybody, when Mercury is in close communication with Venus, but at the very beginning of his own sign. He's virtually only entered the sign and he's going to have to leave in retrograde motion. This is a very interesting situation, actually, because the Mercury-Venus conjunction is a very auspicious one, especially in the sign of Gemini. For many people, Mercury-Venus conjunction will be showing you the glimmer of hope of a new supportive social situation. It could be a new friendship or a closeness with an old friend. It can be communication that helps you romantically, more understanding with your partner. Mercury-Venus always brings people together, and it's a hopeful, very useful situation. But no sooner has the door opened to this than Mercury will leave Gemini and go backwards into Taurus. The 3rd of June then, Mercury is retrograding strongly now in Taurus, and the effect of Mercury retrograde becomes very noticeable in everybody's life from this time. In fact, the beginning of June is very chaotic in every way. Not only is Mercury retrograde bringing delay, miscommunication and all sorts of mishaps into people's lives, but we are in the middle of two eclipses. The 26th of May lunar eclipse and the 10th of June solar eclipse. When we are in between two eclipses, the ground is very shaky. Everybody becomes uncertain and slightly nervous because things are unclear and we know that something is going to change. To understand what the changes will mean for yourself, check the video already on my channel, Solar Eclipse 10th of June. I will link below here and at the end of the video. So considering these ongoing profound changes in our lives, it's so important, everyone, to try to stay calm in this retrograde motion of Mercury. But I promise you it won't be easy because the number one factor of Mercury retrograde is always frustration and delay. In Taurus, it will affect particularly if you are in business, accounting, banking, education, study, and of course, if anybody is traveling, expect delay, expect that it will not be a straightforward journey. Miscommunications and misunderstandings are also very common in a Mercury retrograde transit. But the good news, everybody, is this. Despite the chaos and the uncertainty and sometimes the fear in our mind, the very special factor that will occur just after the solar eclipse is going to clear the ground and make the way forward become very obvious for everyone. This is because on the 11th of June, the combustion occurs where Mercury is conjunct to the Sun exactly. This combustion of Buddha Mercury with the Sun Ravi is very profound and mystical. It is said in the Shastra that the Sun gives to Mercury important information that has been needed for a long time. So watch out for it. It will come to you around this date most definitely, either from information given to you by other people, something that you may read, or even in a dream. Listen out for this. It is definitely giving you the information you need that will make it obvious what your next step has to be. With this in mind, let's move forward and look from your moon and ascendant for how this Mercury retrograde transit will be influencing in your life. From Aries moon and Aries Lagna, Mercury is the lord of your 3rd house, but also the lord of your 6th house. He's a tricky planet for you. He often brings confrontation wherever he is in your chart, and when he's retrograde, this gets multiplied. But it's good because the 3rd house lord gets you signing the documents you need to sign, finding the conclusions to deals which you need in your life. So Mercury going from Gemini into the second house again, retrograde, into a solar eclipse for you, is going to finalize something which has been needed to be finalized for some time. It's about your security in life, Aries. It's about your health maybe as well, and your eating, and maybe medications also, because second house is medications that we take, and he is your sixth house lord. So some ongoing situation that will make you feel healthier, happier, and more secure has to be sorted in the next 3 weeks, but it will be chaotic coming up to that point. The chaos is coming from really family members, particularly there's a difficulty with your siblings now. If you have siblings, they may be not well, they may be having financial difficulty. A great deal of distress is actually in their life, and it's influencing you strongly, causing you a great deal of heartache even. So Mercury's retrograde motion gives you the chance to sort out some of these and to actually talk to them, because this is the house of speech in a more constructive way. Mercury shows a special message coming to you from a sibling that will be very important to you in this period. So it's a quite insecure time for you when you have to make a shift in your financial security aspects of your life. But once you've sorted it, you will feel much happier and really able to move forward again. Taurus moon and Taurus Lagna, though a little stressful for you sometimes as your second house lord, Mercury is good for you as your fifth house lord. And he's just been in a conjunction with your lord Venus in your second house. You've been able to make good financial planning, sorting out things very, very quickly in your financial situation. But now Mercury is going backwards into your first house, because what's happening is there is a requirement now to put focus onto yourself. This coming eclipse in your first house is about your health, your fitness, your resources, and Mercury is giving you new information that you did not have before so that you can sort out these factors. There may be consultations with health professionals, financial advisors, etc. If you are in education, you need advice about what you should do now, because you are backtracking, not clear what you should do, where you should go next about education course. The solar eclipse on the 10th of June, with Mercury involved the next day in a combustion with the sun. As I've just said, you can expect that hidden information comes to you from partners, close friends, immediate family, but definitely significant others, which will really influence your next move. So it's a highly communicative time for you, this Mercury retrograde. Very chaotic, very changeable, but information which you need makes you more confident about the future. Gemini moon and Gemini Lagna. Mercury is your lord, the lord of your fourth house. He rules your health, your happiness, and your security in life. And when he goes retrograde, all of these things become a little unstuck. You start to feel a lot of doubt in your mind. That's the key thing. And this time, not only is he causing you to have that doubt and uncertainty during these next 3 weeks, but he's gone into the 12th house again, into the hidden, secretive 12th house of hidden factors and expenses, losses, and even a little bit of paranoia. But what's really happening is that your Lord Mercury has had to go back into this solar eclipse situation to find out the information he needs to move forward. The 12th house is all about letting go of the past, Gemini. So this is all part of a general transit for you with Rahu in your 12th house, letting go of past which is not working for you, making you feel more secure, settled in life long term by this focus on the present. Now, you don't normally focus on the past, but there are some loose ends which need sorting. Mercury in this combustion with the sun in the middle of June, as I've just said, will give to you the information you need to finally close the door on some long-standing stressful situation. This may involve, for some of you, foreign lands, may involve a very difficult health situation. So new information coming to you helps you to sort out health situation, to take definite action to make yourself feel more grounded and purposeful in life. But watch out for the fear factor, because Mercury, your Lord, 12th house, will expand everything into the most fearful scenario. There is no need for this. He is still communicating by Padavatana and Yoga with Venus in your first house. So many helpmates are there for you, helping you. Friendships are there. Partners are there supporting you. It's not such a difficult transit as you may think. For Cancer Moon and Cancer Lagna, Mercury is going into the 11th house of your chart from your 10th house in a retrograde motion. You're sorting out financial situations, earnings, wages, all of these factors now in a big way, making a decision about your career. And it's going to work out well, although it's going to give you a bit of insecurity. Mercury is your 12th house lord. He always makes you feel on edge, and he's going to make you feel concerned about financial situations during this retrograde transit. He's also going to impact communication with your friendship network, perhaps one particular friend, and definitely influence where you feel you are going in life, what your ultimate goals are. Because the solar eclipse takes place in your 11th house, meaning that a new goal-orientated future is ahead of you. You are leaving situations that are not working behind, and it's going to be absolutely good for you, but it doesn't seem to be. There's conflict with children in educational settings, and you are feeling that you don't have the support you need. But the information coming to you, mostly from your friendship networks, support networks, and even sometimes children, will be enormously helpful. You will be able to make creative solutions to your problems with this information. You will be very pleased with the result of this Mercury retrograde transit. For Leo, Moon and Lagna, Mercury is the lord of your 2nd and your 11th, so much to do with your income and your savings, everything to do with your wealth in life. And when he turns retrograde, you become nervous about money issues. It becomes a little bit even obsessive for you. And when he's involved in this solar eclipse in your 10th house, you have to make a decision in regard to your career status, what you're going to do from this moment onwards. Do you stay in this job? Do you move profession? Do you do something completely different? It's not working as it is now. The good news is that Mercury retrograde gives you the information you need to find new openings, but they come as a bit of a surprise to you. So don't make any move career-wise until after June the 11th, when you will have that information which you need to see what is the right opening for you. The major difficulty, though, is that Mercury is opposing the 4th house of home, where K2 is right now. This is causing you a great deal of distress in your domestic situation, family relationships, and maybe also issues with your mother. There is difficulty for her, perhaps, in this time period. Once again, stay calm. Wait until all the information is available to you after June 11th. Then you can make good progress with these difficult ongoing domestic situations. For Virgo, Moon and Lagna, Mercury is your lord, but also lord of your 10th house of career and status. He's everything to do with who you see yourself in the world, how you view your status, how you view your importance in the world. When he's in the 9th house, behind 10th house, he gives you some doubts about your purpose in life. That's what's going to happen. Mercury taking part in this solar eclipse in your 9th house is really important. You are having a complete rethink about what matters to you in life. And this Mercury retrograde gives you many doubts, but ultimately you will get information you need. You need guidance now. That's the key. You need someone to give you the right information. Watch out for that after, as I say, June the 11th. But the retrograde transit in the 9th house will involve difficulty for many of you with your father or with your siblings, as it aspects third house, with your local community, neighborhood. Many disputes, misunderstandings, confrontations, all the things you would rather not have seem to be piling up on you. Try to stay calm. Resolution will definitely come to all of these pressing problems, and probably in a completely different way to what you would expect. So don't make any precipitous moves, particularly don't sign anything. Third house is about signing documents. Don't sign anything until after June the 11th at the earliest. Libra, Moon and Lagna. Mercury is the lord of your ninth house. He's quite a helpful planet for you. He certainly moves you on with optimism towards your future. But when he's gone back in a retrograde motion into the eighth house, he gives you doubts about if you're on the right path, if you can continue doing what you are now doing, because he is also your 12th lord in the 8th house. He will increase expenses unexpectedly for you in the next 3 weeks. Expect that to happen, as he is aspecting second house. All sorts of reassessment in your financial and family situation are going to happen really fast in this period. Expect a few confrontations with your family members, especially in travel. Mercury is your ninth lord. He takes you far away from your home. And in the eighth house, there can be real difficulty traveling now. Travel with absolute caution in these next 3 weeks. But don't make any rash business moves. Mercury here in the house of business and joint finances, indeed, with your spouse, mean that any business enterprise, startup, whatever, will have to be completely revised if it starts now. Really, I would say wait until Mercury is at least not retrograde, which will be obviously on June 22nd. Wait until then. Then you will have new information and make a better decision all round about investments, finance, business, and all of these factors. For Scorpio, Moon and Scorpio Lagna, Mercury is a tricky planet for you. He's your 8th house lord and your 11th house lord. He rules the difficult factors in your life, particularly so much about income and business matters. When he's retrograde in your 7th house, if you are in self-employment, business, working with anybody else, in partnership, there are major misunderstandings happening in these business relationships. Even if you're only working for yourself, there has to be a complete readjustment of your client base, as it were, of your marketplace endeavors. It's a stop-start situation completely, and Mercury is part of this. In fact, during these next 3 weeks, expect confrontations and misunderstandings with your partner, with your close friends, with any person who you consult for advice, health advice, financial advice, any advice. So other people, there's a lot of crossed wires and misunderstandings happening during this period. Because all of these planets, Mercury, Sun, Moon, Rahu, all opposing your sign where Ketu is making you feel like you just want to crawl away under a rock from all of the conflict and confrontation. But you can't do that. Hold tight. Information which you receive, as I say, near the 11th of June will surprise you and open your eyes to what's really going on, either in business or friendship situation, or for some of you in a partnership marriage situation. Finally, you will have that conversation you've needed to have. Sagittarius, Moon and Lagna. It's a tricky Mercury retrograde in the 6th house of your chart. Mercury is your 7th lord. He's your partner. He's your best friend. He's those who you consult. Going back into the 6th house, there is misunderstanding with your partner, with your friends, with even people who you consult medically. It's making you feel terribly stressed. With the solar eclipse happening in your 6th house, though, it's going to clear. It's going to completely clear with a very important conversation with your spouse or consultant that brings things out into the open. So you need to take swift action in your health matters, but also in your workplace matters, because Mercury is your 10th house lord. He's everything to do with your career. So you're not getting on well with your colleagues, with your workmates. You're feeling tremendous stress now because Mercury opposes the 12th house, but you're just hiding it all, not coming out with it. At this Mercury combustion with the sun, you will express your feelings clearly, and so will other people with you. You're a very honest and open person, so you'll be more than pleased to have these conversations at this time. Watch for travel though, because Mercury opposing 12th house shows that you've got itchy feet again. You want to go abroad, you want to travel, you love to move, but any travel at this Mercury retrograde time will cause you more stress than you could ever imagine. It's really best, if you can, to stay put. Travel in your mind, meditation, and all sorts of occult study will be excellent at this time. Mercury opposing 12th house gives you great insights into these subjects. Capricorn, Moon and Lagna. Mercury is a good planet for you because he's your 9th house lord. He brings you to the future and gives you a great deal of inspiration. But he's your 6th house lord. He always involves you in some form of confrontation or conflict, and that's definitely happening now. He's in the house behind your 6th house. Difficult conversations about health matters, difficult situations with your children, if you've got them, are very disruptive to you. And if you are in education, it's come to a grinding halt. There's a great deal of doubt about what you should do now. Do not take anything for granted in all of these situations. Children, education, even in your own creativity. If you are artistically involved, you need new information to make a good decision here. This eclipse in your 5th house is going to open your eyes to what's really going on in many departments of your life. And so don't make any moves, any changes indeed, until after you get the information you need after June 11th. This will particularly involve any financial situation because Mercury opposes the 11th house of gain. You may think you're on a losing streak, that you are going to lose out more than you gain financially at this time, but you'll probably find that is not the case. Watch out for difficulties also with your father because Mercury is the lord of your 9th house. Once again, misunderstandings, miscommunication is there. But most importantly, in your friendship network circles, you are at loggerheads with somebody in your network circles and you need the information, the real conversation with them that puts everything into the right perspective. That will definitely happen in the middle of June. Aquarius, Moon and Lagna. Mercury is lord of your favourable 5th house, but also of the 8th house of sudden events, crisis and joint finance. In your house of home, that's exactly what's happening there. There is a crisis around joint financial situations with your partner or in any business situation. Do you stay where you are? Can you renovate the home? Can you change the home? If family situations are coming to a complete head, there may be issues also with your mother, and a lot of miscommunication with her may be also happening at this time. Most of all, it's impacting either your education or your children's education or simply children themselves because Mercury is your 5th house lord. Some consideration of home life and children is causing a crisis, but look, it's going to be easily resolved. After June the 11th, the information comes to you in a favourable way because, as I say, Mercury is a good planet for you that makes your eyes open to new possibilities. Very much this will involve your own career and your own situation. Maybe a change which you have to make in your own working life that will impact favourably on these domestic situations. Pisces, Moon and Lagna. Mercury is always a tricky planet for you. He rules your 7th house, but also he rules your 4th house. So ruling 2 Kendra houses, he can bring you some difficulty and fear actually into your life when he becomes very strong. And he's very strong now, but he's in the third house retrograde. Mercury likes to be in this house where he can sort out difficult situations, and you're going to have them with your siblings, with your father, with your neighbors, with the ongoing stresses of daily life in your everyday environment. Most importantly, though, he's going to involve you in some difficulties when you travel. Do not travel if you can. Mercury retrograde here, opposing ninth house, foreign lands, not favorable right now. If you have to go, you have to go. But it's probably best to delay if you can, because endless hassle and frustration always comes when a retrograde Mercury opposes ninth house. But there's some business deal potentially, or conversation with your partner that may involve domestic situation or monetary factors which has to be had at this time. You will get the information you've been seeking so long in the middle of June. At the Mercury Sun combustion, you will finally understand what your partner's plans are. They may have been secretive about them. There may have been business deals which have not been spoken about openly. All the information comes to you in a very open and crystal clear way around the middle of June. One thing to watch out for, though, is your own reactivity. Mercury retrograde makes you very reactive, very emotional indeed. And by the way, for some of you, this may involve a relationship with your father, Mercury opposing ninth house. So some issues are really setting you off, and you may say things that you later regret. So watch your speech also during this time. Check out the video now on your screen, the solar eclipse on the 10th of June, and also Mars transit into Cancer. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.